This is CBS News New York.
Right now, a weather emergency in one dramatic scene and the flooding, a house exploding in a New Jersey neighborhood.
In other towns, submerged cars lining the streets, crews racing in to rescue people who ended up getting trapped.
And a live look from Mobile 2 along the Saw Mill River Parkway. Just one of the major roads out there closed this morning. We've got First Alert team coverage for you. Good morning on this Tuesday, July 15th. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. And let's get you right over to Tony Sadiq, who has the First Alert forecast from the virtual studio. What a night, Tony.
It was just incredible, Mayor and Chris, the amount, the intensity of the rainfall in a short amount of time. And our team was all on it. Scott Lonnie, of course, with you, guiding you through it all, through the event yesterday, through the slew of thunderstorm warnings and flood warnings, too. Just have one lingering flood warning through parts of New Jersey. Thankfully, no additional rain there now. Show you the radar. We do have some rain. Basically, anywhere from Valley Stream to Oceanside, if you're in Freeport, Merrick, places like that, and another little downpour near just south of Islip in Suffolk. Watch out for that. Meanwhile, it's going to be a drier day, so thankfully we're not looking at major issues. Maybe there's an isolated downpour. I think the more significant issue this morning is going to be the standing water spots and residual flooding. That's why we've kept in the First Alert through this morning. It's a similar story this afternoon. As for the isolated downpours, it's not going to be as severe, thankfully. But as we send it back over to Guy Stanier, I mean, on the roads was definitely not the place to be through the heart of this yesterday afternoon. Even though we're hours past this event, still some lingering issues, Guy.
That's right, Tony. We are going to check in Westchester. The Saw Mill closed in both directions through Elmsford, Irvington, and Hawthorne. The Bronx River Parkway closed northbound in Yonkers and southbound in Valhalla. The good news, the Thruway, the Sprainbrook, the Hutch, the Cross County, those are all doing well. Let's take a look at some of our traffic cams. Bronx River Parkway at Green Acres Avenue in Scarsdale. You can see all of the standing water and an abandoned car on the right-hand side. The Bronx River Parkway at Palmer Road in Yonkers. Some good news here. You can see the water has started to subside in the area. So hopefully, I don't know, in the next hour or so, we may see some improving conditions here. In New Jersey, routes 22 and 28 are closed through Somerset and Middlesex counties due to flooding. Route 78, the Parkway and the Turnpike are clear and flood-free. And not forgetting about the city, taking a live look at the Van Wyck right near the Kew Gardens interchange. Traffic moving well in both directions. No delays northbound to the Whitestone or southbound to JFK. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thank you. 5:33, and our team coverage continues now with Elijah Westbrook.
He's out with Mobile 2, checking out some flooding along the Saw Mill River Parkway in Yonkers. So, Elijah, what are drivers facing this morning? Does not look good behind you right now, that's for sure.
It doesn't at all, Chris and Mary. And, you know, the Saw Mill River Parkway really, I guess you could say, you know, leading up to its name, if you will, the river, right? Because right here behind me, you can see this is northbound as you approach exit 10, and you can see all of this water that's submerging the ground as well as the median. At last check, it was about 11 inches of water that was in that particular area of the median. We took a little walk over there, and it really is an absolute mess. And so, of course, for obvious reasons, the parkway here is shut down until crews are able to get this water at a reasonable level, where cars are able to safely pass through, or just let this water recede. So this could potentially take several hours. So again, try to avoid this area. Here's another perspective from Mobile 2. We have a camera facing the southbound lanes, and we're seeing a little bit of progress with the water receding from that spot, but definitely not enough for cars to safely pass through. Again, this is looking south near Odell Avenue. And speaking of Odell Avenue, this is what the Saw Mill looks like from the overpass around 3:30 a.m. I took these pictures after we quickly hopped out of Mobile 2, but it gives you a perspective of how far the flooding goes. Let's show you other parts of Westchester County. This is in Elmsford last night. Emergency crews at one point had to rescue a driver stuck in the flooding. You can see them helping the person out of their car, walking through knee-deep water. And a different vantage point from the Metro North tracks in Hawthorne, where a commuter captured cars stuck on the parkway. It's among many roads closed in Westchester County this morning. And as we were driving in Mobile 2 on the Saw Mill, we came across Lamont Street taken over by floodwaters. You could see debris floating and cars parked behind Napa Auto Parts. And I'll leave you with this here. First responders, they've been busy overnight responding to more than just a flooding, right? The Elmsford Fire Department worked to put out a fire on Grasslands Road, telling us thankfully the driver is okay. Back out here live, what a mess this is. Again, the Saw Mill River Parkway, as you approach exit 10, we're standing specifically on Executive Boulevard. Of course, for obvious reasons, everything is shut down. We have been seeing some cars trying to, unfortunately, navigate their way through this flood water. Of course, that is not advised to do. So exercise caution this morning and certainly be careful. We're live this morning here in Yonkers. I'm Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Elijah, thank you. Massive flooding led to dramatic rescues in New Jersey. CBS News New York was first on the scene as it all unfolded in Scotch Plains. Raging floodwaters racing through Scotch Plains, straining drivers all over who were trapped as the water rose higher. And you can look at what rescuers had to deal with to save people. This man was pulled across floodwaters by rope, finally to safe ground. Intense rainfall causing the Greenbrook River in the Watchung Reserve to overflow. Authorities had to launch boats into the streets.
I was driving, I stuck in the middle of the street. The water was right here.
In the car, up to you?
In the car. So.
And then what happened?
And the guys, they came here and rescued.
How quickly did the water rise?
Really very quickly. Maybe within like 15, 20 minutes, it went from maybe just a little stream of water and then it just started flooding over.
Like a river?
Yeah, it was really bad.
How scary was that?
Pretty scary.
Last night, rafts made their way through the streets in Scotch Plains, scooping up people with no other way out and bringing them to safety. Others were rescued using a front loader.
5:37 right now in New Jersey. Crews dealing with flooding and power outages had to rush to another emergency when a house exploded in North Plainfield.
Christina Fan is there live. And Christina, we saw first responders wading through the water where you are as well.
Chris and Mary, that's right. Just a devastating scene behind us. What used to be a beautiful two-story home is now just a pile of rubble. And we know that the force of this explosion was so strong, pieces of this destroyed home ended up on the roof of the home next door and the roofs of homes halfway down this block. You can also see one of the few parts of this destroyed home still left standing is the staircase leading up what used to be the second floor. Thankfully, though, the home was unoccupied at the time and no injuries were reported. But this call came during a difficult and trying night for first responders rushing around the Raritan Valley during yesterday's torrential storms to save stranded motorists from high water. When they responded to this explosion on Parkview Avenue, the home was already fully engulfed in flames. Firefighters had to wade through ankle-deep water, dragging their hose lines through the flooded streets. Here's how neighbors described what happened.
The fire happened within like a minute or 2 minutes. Everything was just, it happened just like that. 1 minute, I'm outside working on my car, the sun's out. Next minute, it's storming and we can't even walk down our block.
And I was just watching the water recede, and all of a sudden, it was just a big fireball. The house just blew up right directly in front of me.
The fire department has since left, but utility crews with PSE&G are still here and say it's an active work zone. We've seen them driving around the street with a backhoe and truck, so not sure exactly what work they will be conducting, but they have been keeping us on the opposite side of the street. The cause of this explosion is still unknown and remains under investigation. For now, reporting live from North Plainfield, New Jersey, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Christina, thank you. Let's take a check on some of the power outages across the tri-state. Here in New York, Con Ed reporting more than 1,500 customers are in the dark. PSEG Long Island has far less, just under 100 customers affected. New Jersey reporting the highest numbers, with PSE&G saying more than 2,100 are without electricity. Jersey Central Power and Light reporting 430. Connecticut, Eversource has more than 500 who have lost power in the Nutmeg State. For more on flooding damage and the impacts it's going to have on your commute, stay with CBS News New York. We'll have updates all morning long and on air and online.
4:39, President Trump has issued an ultimatum to Russia: reach a peace deal with Ukraine or else its trading partners could face stiff new tariffs.
It comes as the administration
Today, President Trump heads to Pittsburgh to focus on domestic energy and tech development, while his administration ratchets up his tariff policy. Monday, the Commerce Department announced a 17% tariff on most imported tomatoes from Mexico after backing out of a 2019 anti-dumping duty agreement. Mexico's government called it unfair. The U.S. currently gets 70% of its tomatoes from Mexico, according to the Florida Tomato Exchange.
I think the biggest effect, which is probably 95% of it, would be, your grocery stores.
California grower Bill Loratelli says the move could lead to price jumps in the produce aisle, but he also hopes it boosts production at home.
We should be trying to promote people like us because not very many left around.
President Trump is also threatening to slap a 100% tariff on countries that buy Russian oil and gas if the Kremlin does not reach a peace deal with Ukraine within 50 days.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia.
While hosting NATO's Secretary General Monday, the president touted a plan to sell weapons, including Patriot missiles, to NATO for Ukraine.
We're going to supply weapons to NATO. They're going to deliver the weapons, and they're going to pay for 100% of the weapons.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky met with U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg Monday and later had a call with President Trump. On social media, Zelensky expressed gratitude to the president and said his country is ready to work to achieve peace. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
541, let's get you back over to Tony Sadico in the virtual studio. More trouble coming today.
Yeah, Mary, it's just we don't need any more rain. Unfortunately, there is still the threat for an isolated downpour. Nevertheless, we still have some flooding issues. I want to give you the first alert on this. It's a flood warning in effect for portions of New Jersey. It includes Middlesex, includes Somerset, all the way up into Morris. Reason being, we've got high water spots, roads that are flooded, and rivers, too, that have been impacted. Cloudy skies overhead in the city. Quick look at the radar now. Thankfully, it's not widespread action, but still want to take the umbrellas, especially if you live in southern sections of Nassau and Suffolk, as we continue to deal with some lingering wet weather. 542 as we check back in with Guy Stanier. I know a lot of issues out there, but some signs of improvement?
A little bit, Tony. We're going to start with some of our traffic cams. This is the Bronx River Parkway at Green Acres Avenue in Scarsdale. You can see we do have an abandoned car that's being attended to. And we're going to move over to the Bronx River Parkway at Palmer Road in Yonkers. Once again, we are slowly seeing the flooding waters recede on the roadway, so some improvement here. And taking a live look at the Kosciuszko Bridge, we have a stalled truck. It is the right lane closed on the Brooklyn-bound span. We're starting to see some slow traffic pick up through the area. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Thanks. 542 coming up. If you haven't left for work yet, be aware.
We're seeing a major impact from all the flooding yesterday. In some areas, water has yet to recede, even though the rain has ended. Our team coverage continues.